Graham Bailey has said, according to reports, Liverpool are stepping up their pursuit of Liam Delap. The Reds are in the market for a new forward. Now, I find this very interesting. I can't make the call of whether I think Delap would be a brilliant fit for Liverpool. When I've watched them, and admittedly it's a handful of times, he's always struck me as somebody who is destined for a higher level than Ipswich, with all due respect to the Tractor Boys. Whether he's Liverpool calibre or not, look, I'm not qualified to give that opinion, but it would depend on the price for me. I'd like a lot about Delap. He reminds me of a kind of younger Jamie Vardy to some extent. Always playing on the shoulder, always using his physicality, knows where the goal is. Of course, his father, another former professional footballer. So it's an interesting one. I'm going to put it to the poll, actually, because I want to know what people think. Would you be happy enough with him? So one sec. Someday I'll learn how to type and talk at the same time. Someday. Maybe I can go on a course or something. Question I'm going to ask is, would you be happy if Liverpool signed Delap as a Darwood replacement? I'm going to give you three options, because unsure is probably a fair option on this one, because I'm sure a lot of people probably don't know enough about Liam Delap. I certainly would probably put myself in the don't know enough about him category. I do know he came through the Manchester City Academy. I do know that he's impressed me when I've watched them, but it would be an interesting one. It would feel like a bit of a risk. I can't lie, it would. But would it be a risk worth it? I guess that might come down to the numbers involved. It's an interesting one. You know, it really is. I would probably feel more comfortable if he was brought in alongside somebody else. So let's say we brought in a Delap and a Shesko, or a Delap and a Cunha. Then I'd probably feel a lot more excited by it. But unsure. Yeah, I'd definitely say unsure for me. But I'll leave you guys vote away and we'll get back to it. Makes me crease that you can't talk and type at the same time. It's not just those two things, mate. My wife will tell you, I can't multitask at all. My brain just goes, whoa, 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 dude. Whoa, calm down now. There's too much going on here, Craig. You're not that smart, fella. But yeah, I wish I could. Delap would have to be a backup to somebody of real class, said Nimnoy, but rather have a killer number 9, said Chancellor. Where was your first post on that one? Was there another one before that? We should look at somebody like Doué, Dembele. Look, PSG aren't going to let those guys go. But I can see where you're coming from. I think Arne Slot really admired the work rate and the pace of those PSG forwards. He mentioned it in an interview again recently, that pace is something that he admires. And I think I want more pace as well. You know, we spoke about this actually last night on the stream. Pace is something that I do think we're missing a little bit at the minute. We can certainly do it a bit more of. So, yep, I wouldn't mind a bit of pace. I wouldn't, because I love the days of the Mane and Salah at his peak, absolutely just tearing down the sidelines. Andre Nielsen said, Delap can replace somebody like Jota, but he can't be our main man. Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting show, alright. Shane said, I actually like Delap. So do I, but I just don't know if I like him enough for him to lead the line at Liverpool. I'm sure Arne Slot will have an opinion on it, and let's see if there is truth to this. But again, just for those coming in, said, according to reports, Liverpool are stepping up their pursuit for Liam Delap. The Reds are in the market for a new forward. Nimnoy said, how much will Delap cost? Haven't got a clue, mate. Have not got a clue. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I've not got a clue. I haven't seen a number mentioned, so no idea. What do you think he's worth, though? I think the number you've mentioned, about 40, sounds reasonable to me. George said, I'd like Ekitike. I think Newcastle are looking at Ekitike as a potential replacement if they lose Alexander Isak. Muckrab said, I mean, for the final, I wouldn't be too annoyed if we played well and Newcastle get their first trophy since my mother was born. Look, I don't ever want Liverpool not to win a trophy, mate. So I want us to beat Newcastle. Make no mistake about it. But they're a great club, Newcastle. And if we had to lose to somebody, well, then, you know, I wouldn't begrudge the Geordies a trophy. But I begrudge them from the point of view if I want Liverpool to win it. But, you know, at least if they don't win it, it's going to a good home. Let's just say that. But I still want us to win it. Paro, how are you, bro? Said, for me personally, Craig, I wouldn't want Delap right now. Could be a great player in the future, but right now, if Salah is to go, we need a certain goal scorer like Isak. It's a fair point. It is a fair point. And like many have said, maybe you'd look at him as a supplementary striker. So, if we lost Jota and replaced him with somebody like Delap, I'd probably be a lot more comfortable. And then we had whoever the real number 9 is going to be, whether it is a Shesko, whether it is an Isak, whether it's a Cunha, whether it's I don't want it to be a Jonathan David actually, but, you know, I could understand that then. I'd certainly, Maybe I should have asked the question a bit different. You know what? I'm going to change it. Apologies, but I'm going to change the vote because I have an idea. Now let's try and talk while I do this, right? I'm going to keep trying to talk while I type this out. I'm still trying to talk here. Talky talk. I'm not really able to conduct a conversation, as you can see. So this time I've changed it a little bit. And I'm going to ask, would you sell Diogo Jota to buy Delap? Because I feel like I freaked a lot of people out there by asking, would you take him over Darwin? So let's go a different way then. Let's say if we sold Diogo Jota and we got 40 million, would you spend that 40 million to go and sign Delap? Maybe go from there. Get a boy with a neat finish and a brain equals upgrade. Do you know, I'll always have resentment over the Darwin situation. Not resentment at Darwin, but it's so frustrating because you can see all the tools. You know, Darwin has every attribute needed, except perhaps confidence and composure. But physically, he's got it all. His work rate's tremendous. I don't think anybody ever really questions that. On occasion, maybe one game, but in general, his work rate's amazing. But it'll always go down to me as one that could have been. And I hope he doesn't leave Liverpool and then suddenly go on a mad one in his career and score 33 seasons in a row or something. To be honest, João Pedro's not worth 100 million. Not a chance. I would agree with you on that one. Not a chance is he worth 100 million. Somebody said to me, Bangs of a very Michael Edwards type player, and potentially, but yeah, he's not worth 100 million. Remember how he played for Benfica at Anfield? I do, but that game, I was looking back over that game last night actually. So we won that tie 6-4 on aggregate. We beat them 3-1 over in Lisbon. Then we brought them back and played them at Anfield. We were 3-1 up in that game. So 6-2 on aggregate with 15-20 minutes to go. And then they scored 2 late goals to make it 3-3 on the night, 6-4 on aggregate. So I feel we kind of took our eye off the ball a bit that night as well when the job was pretty much done. But yeah, I do remember it. Because people were looking at Liverpool's recent knockout record in Europe. And it's not making for great viewing, in all honesty, at Anfield in the last few years. But context is always needed for some of those results. Should you sell Jota and buy Delap? 57% say yes, 29% say no, 14% say unsure. Ruzba said, do you believe the Delap story? I don't know. Because I'd be comfortable with him as a second option, but I don't know if I'd be comfortable with him replacing Darwin. So if we sold Jota and bought Delap, I'd be calm about that. But it is from Graham Bailey, I believe, in TBR Football. I mean, not sure of reliability there, in all honesty. Either way, I'm not saying they are or aren't. But yeah, I've not seen a price either, which is an interesting one. But I think Delap will move. That may make it an easy deal for somebody. You know, if he's going to leave Ipswich, if they get relegated, then, you know, he's got to go somewhere.